Hello and welcome back to Fallout 76. Today we are going to have a look at a pipe raid. I managed to find 3 volunteers to join me in a raid, and the limitation is that you're only able to use pipe weapons. So this would include the pipe gun, of course, the pipe revolver, pipe bolt action, and the syringer. Technically you could use a pipe wrench or a lead pipe, but nobody did that. This is all guns. Before we hit the raid, let's have a look at the weapons that my teammates are using. I do have screenshots of all of the guns, and what I found interesting about this is no 2 guns are exactly alike. So first up, I have, this is a gun from Mihiru, and it is pipe bolt action, furious, vital, perception, and that pinpointers effect. Next up, this is also Mihiru's weapon. This is a pipe revolver. It's aristocrat's explosive with intelligence. And you can see they've got a little highlight there under intelligence. This is mainly just to gain extra experience. And this is Mihiru's pipe rifle. It is quad with VATS enhanced, VATS optimized, and that conductor's effect. And Mihiru also brought in an endanger all syringer, which is, the idea with that is to reduce the target's resistance for 2 minutes. Not sure if it actually works on the raid bosses. I've never used one before. I also brought one in. The other 2 players did not. This pipe revolver belongs to Bextron. It is furious with vital and VATS optimized. And this is Bex's pipe rifle. It is furious with VATS enhanced and lucky. And then we have Hipcat, the only one brave enough to bring in just 1 gun. They have a pipe rifle. It is quad, rapid, lucky hit, pinpointers. And now we're on to my weapons. So we have this pipe rifle. It is quad, rapid, VATS optimized with pinpointers. I didn't craft this specifically for the raid. It was one I'd actually had in my stash for a while. If I were to start over and craft this for the raid, I probably would have put conductors on that 4th star just to be able to stay in VATS longer. Extra damage is nice, but staying in VATS means I can do more critical hits, and I think it actually does more, it'll actually work out better than pinpointers would. Then I have this pipe revolver. I did craft this one for the raid specifically, and this is actually for the drill stage, for defending the drill. Furious would have been a better option. However, I would have to redo my build. I'm not using any of the onslaught cards, and I didn't want to redo my build just for that one stage of the raid. So I decided to go with 2-shot, which is a little underpowered compared to Furious. We've got VATS enhanced. I don't want to miss. Swift for faster reloads, and then that electrician's effect, so I can actually stun enemies whenever I need to during, if I get overwhelmed defending the drill. All right, and I actually have a second pipe rifle. So this one is 2-shot explosive with Swift. This one I crafted specifically for the crystals mainly. I think having, just multiple projectiles just helps take the crystals out quicker. And the Enclave Soldier Room, if I need to take out a shield, it should do that a little better as well. And then I have a endanger all syringer. This was the second one on the team. Someone, Mihiru has one as well. This one, it's not a weapon I typically use, and I actually don't even know if it works on the raid bosses. But I thought, why not give ourselves an edge if we can? We're going to do less damage because they're pipe guns. At least that was the thought going in. So here's my build. Follow through really, I didn't sneak at all, so I don't think follow through actually helped. Taking one for the team though, that can make a lot of difference. So that one comes into play here. And as far as the build goes, normally I run Bullet Storm because I have a quad Elder's Mark, but I took the Bullet Storm perks off. They don't really make any sense for these weapons. They just don't have the ammo capacity. And I moved those 5 points into Charisma. And the reason for that is so I could share EMT just to help us stay alive. And it actually did work a time or 2. And I needed 6 Charisma to be able to share this. So all 5 Bullet Storm perks went in there. That's why I've got that set up. We've got Number Cruncher, give me more damage. Tormentor, more damage against crippled targets. Got Center Masochist. The Raid Guardian should be, it's all torso, right? So once the shield generator down, this should be all bonus damage here. Then I have Concentrated Fire and Awareness just to get that VATS accuracy as high as possible. And then I do go for crippling perks, so I do have Enforcer and Modern Renegade. And then Gunslinger, this is just an extra bit of weak spot damage. Gunfu and Adrenaline, that's really only going to affect when I am in the drill defending stage. Other than that, it's not really going to do anything the rest of the raid. And with Luck of 16, Critical Savvy 3, and my Limit Breaking Armor, I can do a critical hit every other shot. And then I have better criticals for the extra damage there. And here are the mutations. Speed Demon, faster reload speed is the main benefit there. Herd Mentality bonus to all my specials. Egghead doesn't really matter in this case. Eagle Eyes for the extra critical damage. Carnivore, use meat-based foods there. Bird Bones, a little bit of extra agility, gives us a little more AP. And Adrenal Reaction, other than the drill defense, really isn't going to come into play. And as far as the food goes, the big one here is the Sweet Mute Fruit Tea for the extra critical damage and the Company Tea for the extra AP regen. So with all that out of the way, let's just see how the raid went. So here we go. It's time for boss number 1, the EN06 Guardian. And this one, like, we didn't really talk strategy. Well, not at all. We didn't talk strategy. But we've all done enough raids. You can see we're all positioned in a spot where somebody should always have a clean shot at the shield generator. And of course, I did bring the what is it? The syringer. I crafted a syringer specifically for this encounter and the snake encounter. And number 1, I don't know if it works. And number 2, I never used it. I completely forgot I had it. But we're taking down the shield, you know, reasonably well, considering that our damage output is going to be less than if we were using other weapons. But yeah, the shield's going down pretty quickly. Yep, and then, yeah, there we go. So for the most part, I had a clean shot the whole time. So taking one for the team really didn't, at least from me, I don't know if anybody else had it, but taking one for the team, I assume it was going because some of those numbers are bigger, like the 3,000. I mean, there's like 3,000 on crits, but I think at some point they drop down. I'm not quite sure, but I didn't really get a hit. So my taking one for the team never triggered. Yeah, so now we're doing less damage. So I think somebody else had taken one for the team, but you can see this was pretty quick. Unfortunately, I didn't have a timer on that. I didn't have the quest active, so we couldn't really see what the time was on that, but it was reasonably quick. I didn't edit any of that out. But now we're on to the drill stage, and I am defending here, and I'm using, as you can see, my my pipe revolver, having trouble getting position. What I was worried a little bit about was my damage output, because I had played with this a little bit in the, you know, in the overworld outside of the raid just to see, and the damage wasn't as much as I would like. You can see I'm not one-shotting. I mean, the mole rats, I'm one-shotting, but the mole miners are taking 2 and 3 hits, even once I build up full adrenaline. So that was something I was worried about, and it turned out to be a valid concern. But I just didn't really have a better option. A pipe bolt would have been okay here in terms of damage, but it's so slow between fire rate and even the reload. That was one of the things about this weapon. It felt very slow even during the reload. Even though I've got speed demon, I've got faster reload on the weapon, it just wasn't. Yeah, it felt very slow. But this is a case where teamwork really helped a lot. My teammates were doing some shooting whenever they dropped fuel off, and they actually they were really quick when it came to collecting the fuel. So even though the defense was a little stressful, honestly. I mean, you can see the drill's not taking a ton of damage, so we weren't really ever in danger in terms of the drill dying. And as long as I made sure to get the mole rats, those are the ones that do the big damage against the drill. But yeah, my teammates are coming in, they're just shooting stuff, but you can see we're already halfway through. Of course, we don't have a timer because I forgot to have that quest active. So I do turn it on later on in the raid when I realize, oh, it's not on. But yeah, so far we're doing okay, even though it's taken me multiple hits. You know, I do have that reload in my pocket anytime I need it. But it always felt like there was a little bit of a delay. Like I would decide to reload and it felt like there was a little bit of, it took a little bit of time before it actually did the reload. But you can see we're doing really well, and I'm assuming all of the easy canisters in the hallway are still there. So once it gets closer, we should be okay. But, you know, I got a little bit of a lull. So between my teammates, you know, helping shoot when they come in and doing a really good job. Plus, everyone stayed alive. Like, that's really important in this level. I mean, especially with the way, you know, how little damage I'm doing compared to what I would do with other weapons. If we go a man down, that makes it a lot harder. But that didn't happen. You can see we're just one canister away, and I think it's going to be any minute. We should have someone coming in with the last canister, and the drill took a little bit of damage, but nothing overly concerning. Yeah, and that went really quickly as well. So far, this raid started off, the first two areas started off very, very smoothly. And this was the one, honestly, this drill level was the one I was worried about the most, just because my damage wasn't as high as I would have liked. And now we are on to the third stage with the Enclave soldiers. This one I didn't expect to go super quick, just because our damage output is pretty low. I think we're all using pipe. I mean, I'm using a pipe rifle at this point. I don't know if everyone else is. It looks like everyone else is using a pipe rifle. But you can see our damage. I mean, Bloodhound's pretty tanky, but our damage is just, you know, when we can all get hits, it's okay, but we're definitely not melting anything. And yeah, shoot these guys whenever possible. Try and keep the shield up. I mean, I think the shield will go up at some point. But yeah, so far we're all focusing on the tankiest target. Bloodhound's a bit of a problem. Lynx is worse because then the AP goes away, and yep, we got a Vex is on that. So now we're just waiting, waiting for the shield to go down. I did have a weapon specifically for taking the shield down, the two-shot explosive. I don't think anybody else did, so it was a little more difficult. There we go. All right, so there we go. So yeah, we've almost got. Yep, there goes Bloodhound. But I think this was the stage that probably took us the longest. Again, I don't have the quest active. I didn't realize it until later, so I do apologize for that. I like having it active so we can see how much time is going. But yeah, I haven't. So what you see is the full time though. I haven't actually cut any of this stage yet. Yeah, see this gun was great. It was good for taking out crystals. It's good for taking out. Taking down the shield, taking out bots. It was great for that. In terms of damage against the bosses, because I don't know if I tried it here. Because we actually did more than one raid after this one. But yeah, so the damage is, I mean, it's okay, but the AP cost is pretty high. But that went reasonably well. I mean, it wasn't terribly long. I've definitely done worse levels than that one. So far, so good. And now we're on the crystal stage. I do have my two-shot explosive here for this. You can see it's pretty good for taking out the crystals when I can actually hit them, which is a bit of a thing. This is, I mean, I have it modified for stability, so I should be able to, and he's all over me. Now, one thing I will say about this level specifically is I'm pretty terrible at it, honestly. It's not my, I tend to play with this when I do raids. I tend to end up on teams with people who are really good at running this level, and so my typical strategy is just to stay out of the way. But me standing on top of a crystal the whole time, I don't think makes for a very interesting video. So that's why I decided to take part in taking down the stalker at this point. Another option which I thought of after was I could have stood on a crystal, gone into photo mode, and then you could have actually got a really nice view of someone who actually is good at this level. But this actually went okay. Problem is, not in power armor, and when I do a stim pack, there is an animation, so I get staggered easier, and there is that. So I did have to keep my distance and play this pretty safe, just to try and stay alive. Because if I let the stalker get too close to me, I'm gonna get staggered at just the wrong minute or wrong moment, and then I'll be dead, which is still fine. It would still get completed, but we're doing okay here. I think he's pretty close to dead. I don't think he makes it up the ramp. I think I think these next two crystals, one of these next two crystals, I think finished it. That may have done it, I think. I think that was yeah, that was it. All right, so at this point, I've been showing you without edits the whole time, but at this point, we're gonna fast forward to the final stage, because all we have left is, at this point, is just a waiting game. All right, we are taking out this crystal. That's gonna take out most of the horde, and I think all we have left at this point is just a couple of death claws. Yep, just 2 death claws left. This big crystal will finish them off, and you can see I remembered to re-enable the quest. So it took us exactly 3 minutes, which is pretty quick, I think. We did, this went about as smoothly as it possibly could go. And at this point, I finally remembered that I have that syringer. I have no idea if it works. I've never used one, but it's not a weapon I ever use. I crafted it for the raid, but if it works, I shot him, and it should last for 2 minutes. But now it's just a question of, yeah, it's kind of a war of attrition. Nobody's doing just crazy damage here. And I kind of wish that I had put conductors on this weapon rather than pinpointers. I mean, pinpointers is nice, extra damage, but when you, especially against him, when you drop out of ATS because your AP is gone, it really does, it does affect things. But I'm doing okay. I'm hitting the eye at a decent enough clip that I'm getting, you know, the best damage, because hitting the eye does give you, you know, quite a bit more damage than hitting the head. But I have to do it fairly close just because the range on the pipe guns is so much less than it used to be. That, yeah, so at this point, and someone on the team had conductors on one of their weapons. I think it was Mihiru, if I remember correctly. And so I wasn't having to worry about stim packs at all. My healing was just going, and Team Medic. I think Team Medic was also being shared, if I remember right as well. So, yeah, this was actually not, I mean, it took a while to do, you know, because our damage output was less, but in terms of staying alive, it wasn't an issue. And so far at this stage of the raid, nobody has died in any of the stages. Everything just went perfectly smoothly. This raid, for the most part, I don't think we could, with these, you know, with our weapons that we had, I don't think we could have done this any quicker than we actually did it. From the time the raid, you know, from the first button push until the time that the snake dies, which is going to happen here, you know, fairly soon. it was a little over 16 minutes total, and that includes the time scrapping in between levels and whatever. So this actually went really well. And you can see we're doing okay. My health dropped down, into the 60% range, which isn't, that's perfectly manageable. And the snake, yeah, the small damage against the snake I will say it is frustrating when you're used to using, higher. My usual weapon on this character is an Elder's Mark, and the damage and fire rate are quite a bit better. But yeah, this is actually, you can see we're doing okay. The snake there we go. He's almost dead. We didn't even, was not even a sweat. This one actually pretty well. 2 minutes and 22 seconds. Definitely not a record, but still, I think that's very respectable considering we are using pipe guns. And there you have it, the pipe raid. As you can see, it actually went very smoothly. In fact, I don't think it could have gone much smoother, especially given the limitations we had with the weapons we were able to use. And overall, it was just a lot of fun. In fact, it was so much fun, we did a couple more raids after this one. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit one of the buttons, and I hope you'll join me in the next one. Thank you very much.